Hey guys, welcome back. Eric Smith here, Five Reasons sports contributor, also co-host of Scouting the Fins with Hassan Patel and Eric Wiedeke. Last week on Scouting the Fins, we had Richmond Webb on as a guest. Really great conversation. Definitely go check that out. As a lot of you guys already know, Webb was a first round pick of the Dolphins, number 9 overall in the 1990 draft out of Texas A&M. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler from 1990 through 1996, and he was either first or second team All Pro from 92 through 95. He was also named to the 1990s NFL All Decade Team, and he was inducted to the Miami Dolphins Honor Roll on December 25th, 2006. But the question we want to answer here was, how good was Richmond Webb? We know that he played 11 seasons for Miami with 118 consecutive starts, and that was a Dolphins record until Jason Taylor surpassed him with 130. And he ended up playing his last couple of years, 2001 and 2002, with the Bengals before signing a one-day contract to retire as a Miami Dolphin. I graduated high school in 2002. And I feel like most Dolphins fans, 30 years or younger, probably have no idea just how good Richmond Webb was. So, with that in mind, I wanted to dive into some film and give you an idea. All right, as we get into the film review here, we're going to see Richmond Webb playing left tackle, number 78 for the Dolphins. And we're going to start out looking at some power rush, against him. Number 92 here for the Kansas City Chiefs is Darren Michael. He was a third-year defensive end who had a career high 7 sacks in 1994. And you can see here that, Webb's doing a good job of just getting his hands on him, moving his feet, not giving up anything in the pocket there. Next one here, now he's on the bottom of the screen, going to be going against Neil Smith. And again, you can see, right, just very, very effortless. Smith wasn't the best power rusher, but can see that at no point was Webb ever threatened by the power here. Back to Michael, a little bit better in terms of a power move here, trying to bull rush through. But you can see that Webb's feet doing a good job, keeping a good base, right, on contact as he's trying to counter back to the inside. Webb's dropping that right foot, re-anchoring, and just running him right past the quarterback. Against the Packers here, right? Starts out as a little bit of a speed rush, but this defender's trying to counter back to the inside with some power. And you can see that Webb gets that right hand on him, really neutralizes that counter move, and he can never get back into the power part of his move. Again, Packers, this one here, you can see that Webb's being a bit more aggressive with his set. Ball snapped, just a quick little, he's not kick stepping back like we see in today's NFL, as that defender is, showing that there is no, he's not looking to get into a speed move at all. At that point, Webb takes the fight to him and, never even allows him to cross the line of scrimmage. And the last one for the power moves on the top here, right? Again, this defender tries to go, power and then working around the edge. And just like we've seen with all the other ones, Webb just handles that so smoothly, right? A little more of a kick step there, opens up, gets contact, controlling the shoulders, right? You can see even with this poor video that, getting the hands on him and just able to run him straight past the quarterback here. And then we're going to move over to the speed rush here, right? So on this one, you can see it starts out a little more power, then tries to swim over top. You can see that, that doesn't affect Webb at all. He's able to adjust and stay with that, right? Mirror slide the whole way through. Never a threat. Now, top of the screen, more of a, true speed rush. And you can see that Webb, right? One of the things that we talk about with the younger tackles is the ability to keep your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, right? To be ready for that counter move. And Webb is just consistently good with that. You can see that, right now is when he's starting to open up, which is where that defensive end is committed to that power move. And then once he does that, you just flip the hips and run around the hoop away from the quarterback. A little more space here, got a tight end out there, so that defensive end is in more of a wide 9 technique. You can see Webb is setting a little wider with the pass set there. But again, this defender's trying to get to the outside, and he's never going to get there on Richmond Webb. Same idea here. Can see him handling it even a little smoother than what he did before, right? Just flip the hips, run the feet, and just going to go harmlessly past the quarterback, right? Even though, might look like he's threatening, he's not even close. Now, bottom of your screen, same idea, barely even breaking a sweat here. This defender, Michael, was not known for his speed rush, but you can see that Webb is there, just runs him past the quarterback, and Marino is completely unfazed by his presence. Same idea. Balls out quickly, but you can see just in that pass set from Richmond Webb that Michael was never going to be a threat to the quarterback on this pass rush. Then we get Derrick Thomas here. He's obviously known for his speed a little more than Michael for sure, but you can see that Webb's still doing a good job keeping the shoulder square at the point when Thomas is kind of getting even. That's where Webb's opening up. He's still just doing a good job of getting his hands on Thomas's back and running him past the quarterback. Like that it is very easy for the quarterback. The top of that pocket is strong, so Dan's able to just step up completely unaffected by that pass rush. Here's Derrick Thomas again, and we're going to see Webb handling it even better. Same idea here, that off the snap, keeping the shoulder square, Thomas is getting even, and then you can see that right hand here just hooking under the shoulder pads. At the point that Derrick Thomas commits to that speed rush, Webb's doing a good job with that inside hand of neutralizing any chance of a counter move, and you can see that, and he did slip, but a big part of that was the pressure being applied from Webb on the inside that didn't allow him to put his foot in the ground and stop to counter back inside. And then one of the things that Richmond talked about on Scouting the Fins was just his chemistry on the left side, specifically with Keith Sims. And you can see here, the defense has 6 guys up on the line of scrimmage. At the snap of the ball, based on the way everything goes, that Richmond's taking that 4-eye and passing him off to Keith Sims, knows that he can handle his business on the inside. This tight end, maybe not as much. So you can see that Webb bumps out to the outside after giving Keith just a little bit of help, gets back to the outside, helps that tight end. Tight end ends up essentially completely leaving, kind of going out there for an outlet type pass. But just a nice job here of doing a little bit to help to the inside and then being able to get to the outside and handle the edge rusher with just a little bit of help from the tight end. And then last one here, again, you can see there's 5 guys up on the line of scrimmage for the Chiefs. We're going to get a linebacker blitzing as well. And you can see, again, just that communication between Sims and Webb. They've done this a million times. They see this right off the snap of the ball. Richmond's effortlessly passing that off to Sims and then does a great job of, keeping his shoulder square, not turning and chasing that defender to the inside, gets a good base, able to completely neutralize a linebacker that's at full speed trying to rush through him. And to finish up the film review here, we did talk about Richmond being more of a run blocker in college. I just wanted to include some here just to show that when he was asked to do it in the NFL, he was still really good at it. So this play here was designed to run more to the inside. They were going to try to seal this outside linebacker to the edge, and that's why Webb's turning to the inside here. But you can see that he's doing a good job of getting onto his defender, getting into good position for what he was being asked to do, and also creating vertical push in that run block. Next one here, bottom of your screen. Good job here of being the reason that this run is able to pop from a second level run and get to that third level. He's able to get to that second level quickly and not just getting his hands on the linebacker, he's able to create movement on the run. And that's minimum required to be to get to there and get on this linebacker. But the ability to have the control to keep the feet moving and run him, right? That's just a step above. And we're going to see the same thing here. This run gets stuffed, but you can still see that Webb is getting to that next level, getting hands on that linebacker, and running him out of the screen. This one's here, more of a zone run type play. Inside zone, so you can see that Webb wants to take that defensive end to the outside, and he does a good job of basically torquing that defender around, getting him turned to the sideline, and creating the lane there that allows that running back to get through the lane. How he'd be able to keep his feet could have been a pretty big run there. And then last one here, going to be against the Packers, and just another one showing his athletic ability to get to the second level, right? And not just get there and get in front of the linebacker, but able to create movement on the linebacker at the second level. All right, as you can see, NFL offense from the 90s looks very different from today. And while techniques might not be what you see today, you can still see from the film on Richmond Webb and see that he was keeping the pocket clean for Marino. He was generating movement in the run game. And those are the 2 things that matter most when evaluating offensive linemen. Richmond Webb is routinely listed in the top 10 to 15 of all-time Miami Dolphins, and he was one of the best in the entire NFL in the 1990s. He was a 2025 semifinalist for the NFL Hall of Fame, and hopefully soon gets his name called because he certainly earned that distinction in the eyes of many NFL fans, including myself. I hope this trip back in time to see some of Webb's play, instead of just hearing about it, is a helpful tool to show you just how good he was for the Miami Dolphins. Leave a comment below. Let me know how you feel about Richmond Webb and his path to the NFL Hall of Fame. As always, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk again soon.